So, thank you very much for coming. Welcome to All Game Trailers Are Not Created Equal. This talk is a publisher perspective on the game trailer creation. It's a dive into different trailers formulas and what they have to offer. It's a reflection on how to adapt your trailer depending on its canvas. And it's not about how to produce your trailer. You already have a lot of great resources on that end. So hi, I'm Adrien Marie, and I've been working as brand manager at Dotemu for 3 years now. Dotemu is a French publishing company based in Paris that specialized in neo-retro experiences like Street of Rage 4 and TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Before Dotemu, I worked as a part of the French publishing team at Rockstar Games, and I have a background in the film industry, working on releases, strategies, and marketing material like posters, trailers for various releases, from Palme d'Ors to Minion or the Fast and Furious franchise. Work on the marketing strategies for both Dotemu and the Arcade Crew game releases. With Dotemu, we work on titles that are based on a renowned IP, while the Arcade Crew is our publishing label dedicated to original games, concept, and properties. There, our lead asset is not the IP we are basing the title on, and we have to start everything from scratch like everybody else. With the same publishing team behind all projects, we do learn through each one together. And it's important to keep in mind how game trailers are so different and why it matters. Too quick. First, they have different production pipelines. For video games, you have an infinite time to create shots. It's easy to cheat or to do retakes. And game trailers can look nothing like the final product, as CGI or animated trailer can help build a mood or a direction. And for AAA games, we know that this can create a gap between the intended vision and the way the game will be available for player day one. I don't need to showcase any example here. And if you compare the way you announce films and games, you'll see that film projects that are signed or entering production are mostly already announced through specialized outlets like Variety or The Hollywood Reporter. You may have official or leaked videos or photos from the set, but that's mainly it. And finally, the video game culture and the game trailer culture are built on surprises, and the world premiere, I can do it, effect is pretty much unique in the entertainment industry, with showcases fully dedicated to trailers, announcement, and gameplay. So what do I mean by all game trailers are not created equal? First, AAA game trailers have their own set of goals and tools. Announcing a AAA game, especially first-party one, is announcing a showcase for game consoles in terms of graphics and more. It's a way to project into the future of a console's lineup with games that pushes the medium forward. And this trailer can go around rules, around rhythm and build-up with structures that are closer to film or television. And on the indie side, most trailers are built with gameplay footage out of necessity and focuses on the gameplay loop, the art direction, and the world building. Immediacy is so important. With such a competitive field, this is where you must answer to the questions: how will you play this game, and how does this game stand out from previous title very quickly? Always keep in mind the goals of your trailers before you build it. Your trailer will help the player understand the game as you dive into gameplay and the game's universe, but it's also what welcomes players to the store page. It's key to build a trailer as a visual support to an announcement too, as a trailer untied to additional information can create frustration and impatience from the audience that you are trying to build. The main takeaway here is the timing. Ask yourself, why is this trailer relevant to this marketing beat, and what key information are included in this trailer? That's why you must build your trailer for each one of your marketing beats. This is what a regular trailer campaign looks like for a game release, from announcement to launch and beyond. One marketing bit can obviously merge with another, but we'll take the time to analyze each one for this talk. Announcement trailers. They are the most important one. Set the hook as fast as possible. Dive into the gameplay and the universe quickly, unless you're relying on a well-known IP. I'll come back to that a bit later. You must take into account that this may be the only video asset you'll be publishing for quite some time, especially if you happen to encounter delays into productions, which we kind of always all do. And finally, even if it's for a couple of shots, always have gameplay. You need to help the player know how your game will be played. And as you'll be launching your Steam page at the same time, you'll need to have screenshots anyway. I wanted to showcase an example of one of our reveal trailers here for Metal Slug Tactics. The opening seconds serves as a tease. We're announcing a collaboration between us and a new partner, being SNK. This also helps to celebrate and emphasize our global positioning as a go-to publisher for retro licenses. But the trailer features a short animated sequence and a quick switch to the gameplay. This was needed in order to present the tactical twist we are working on the Metal Slug license early to avoid any confusion. This is not a mainline title. It's a new original spin-off, but the Metal Slug IP is in the right hands. This was done as a greater extent with Shredder's Revenge, as we created a new version of the 87 TV show opening with a full minute of animation. But we couldn't leave it with that, as we needed gameplay to emphasize on the legacy of the arcade titles we are basing the game on. Another example I wanted to showcase is Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. We used the first second of the trailer for world building and to introduce the studio through its previous and successful release, which was Blazing Chrome, that was also published by the Arcade Crew. We saw later that it may have been a mistake, as we saw that the most replayed moment of the trailer on YouTube was this, the switch from the opening cinematic to the gameplay. The interest for our core audience wasn't really in the cinematic or the world building, but gameplay. Speaking of gameplay, your next step is to create a gameplay trailer to offer a deep dive into what your game has to offer. These can be lengthy videos. Take your time to explain your gameplay loop and work especially on the structure. Create sections, chapters, everything is welcome here. The best way to be precise and guide the audience to where you want to lead them is through voiceover. This is especially efficient on systemic games. When you're working on this, always have a first cut of your trailer with your own voice before you move forward with a voiceover artist. This is where you'll see all of the flaws in your footage or in your script. Even if you cannot hear your own voice, it's for the best. Fix this before you move forward with a pricey and time-consuming recording session with a voiceover artist. And finally, the gameplay trailers are especially efficient post-launch. As we see a great long trend for those, especially with early access titles, such as The Last Spell. Our gameplay overview trailer for The Last Spell doubled its number of views since we published it before our early access launch in 2021, and we observed spike views for each of our major update launch. We knew that the video worked, so with almost 2 years between the launch of the early access and the launch of the V1, we needed to update the video for Steam. We needed to make sure that every game mechanics and updated art are included. As for the V1 launch, the gameplay trailer must be one for the V1 game. Launch trailers. You're getting there, yes. This is the time where you reintroduce your game for the general audiences, as this will be the main trailer attached to your store page. If this is the only trailer the audience will see, what must they see? What can be put aside and what cannot? If the player doesn't go down to the descriptions or the feature list, what will they see? And don't assume that everybody saw all of your previous trailer. This is where you can recycle and reuse all of the best bits of your previous trailer. If your games manage to have post-launch updates, it's very important to keep asking yourself, could this be a trailer? If you have a community, seize it and seize the opportunity to hype up what can be seen as minor content here. We learned that through our experience with Shredder's Revenge. As we were working on the main DLC, the team at Tribute Games worked on a minor content update in December of 2022. We announced the updates through a press release and screenshot, but not with a trailer. And we gathered major press coverage following the game's main success a couple of months before, and we saw that we missed a big opportunity here. Early 2023, we learned from our mistake and created a dedicated trailer for a Street of Rage update, bringing general improvement and balancing. This ended up one of our most popular trailers for the title through our uploads on the IGN YouTube page. Multiple trailers that I showcased here include animation, and I would like to take some time to talk about this aspect of game trailers specifically. Going for animation in your trailers makes sense in a lot of ways. This helps setting the scene and intentions from the project clearly, like we did for TMNT or Windjammers 2 here. This format works better with major bits like announcement or launch, but it might make sense editorially for the game. Having 2D animation for a 3D game or vice versa doesn't work. The pros are quite obvious. It's an outstanding way to raise significantly the production value of your title, and a great way to offer something different than gameplay if your title doesn't include in-game cutscenes. Keep in mind that the main obstacle for those is the price tag. Creating an animated trailer is pricey and can be very time-consuming. This can cost between $1,000 to $4,000 per second, depending on the animation complexity and count months of work. We've also experienced deception regarding animated trailers, as players may end up upset about the disparity between animation style and the game's art direction. This example here features part of the animated sequence for the Last Spell launch trailer, with the most liked comment we saw through an upload on the PlayStation YouTube page, praising the game OST, but pointing out the difference between the trailer and the gameplay art direction as misleading. Overall, we see how internally this animated trailer impacts performances in our trailer. These numbers are based on performances in our own YouTube channel for titles we publish through Dotemu, and our animated announcement trailer performances are almost 3 times better than the average trailer views we have for the rest of the campaign. One of the animated trailers that didn't follow this trend was the announcement trailer for Pharaoh: A New Era. This trailer for the remake of the 1999 game doesn't feature any gameplay until the final fade to black at the end of a 1 minute and 40-second video. This trailer did less than half of the average trailer organic views we had for the rest of the campaign at 24K views and the average at 53. The IGN upload was way more successful and showed us that this right here was the most replayed moment of the trailer. The last seconds where we reveal one rendering of the remake. So if this trailer, if we were making this trailer today, we definitely would have gone with an approach similar to Metal Slug Tactics, which is mixing animation and gameplay. Another example I wanted to showcase is the fantastic reveal trailer for Dead Cells from Evil Empire, introducing their collaboration with Castlevania. The collaboration isn't revealed until the second part of the trailer, but that's okay. Dead Cells is a very popular franchise by itself, and their team have a tradition of creating animated trailers to introduce the themes of their DLC. And it's perfectly built for the way it premiered, which was at the Game Awards pre-show of 2022. And this is why trailers' canvas can change absolutely everything. Premiering your trailer as a showcase remains one of the best ways to do it. Showcases are the best format you can imagine. It's a show about trailers. People tuning in are here for the whole show, so you don't want to miss the one more thing. And on the audience side, you get a combination of the live audience plus the post-show upload. With this format, you can bury your lead, as the trailer you'll be creating will be shown in full too. Bear in mind that showcases may obey to different rules as well, such as ratings. You may have to adapt your game footage for general audiences, but if Doom did it, you can too. Either way, it's important to flag this early into game production so you are able to create safe gameplay early. And finally, showcases offer a lot of live reaction broadcasts from press and content creators, and they're a fantastic way to see if your trailer works. I discussed that with the Evil Empire team, and we did exactly the same thing, I think, which is log in the next morning and see all of the content creators that you like reacting to the trailer that you showcased the night before and see the joy in their faces. It's heartwarming stuff for the whole company. For release date trailer on Shredder's Revenge, we needed to include 3 key elements: a new playable character, the 6-player mode, and the release date, with the latter being the most important one. Our campaign was ramping up, and we had very high expectation about finally delivering a release date after a year-long campaign. After locking a slot at the Summer Game Fest of 2022, we worked around expectation and buried the date as a one more thing at the end of our trailer. This was not an issue for the rest of the campaign outside the showcase, as the release date was our leading information in our wording on social media and on press release. Having the release date this late in the trailer was clearly built for creating a genuine reaction for the live premiere of the trailer from the audience, but also from content creators live streaming the event, given that the date was just 1 week after the showcase itself. And while we worked on the announcement for the game's DLC the next year, we built the trailer as a TBC participant of a showcase, with the reveal of one of the new playable characters, Usagi, buried in the second half of the trailer. The trailer was ultimately not picked up for a showcase slot, and so its structure was not as effective with an organic reveal through our social media. The Usagi reveal here seen was storyboarded as a surprise on the second half of the trailer, but with your social copy and your press leading with the character, the wow effect doesn't work as effectively as intended. If this trailer was created without a showcase in mind from the get-go, I would have opened it with Usagi differently and storyboarded the whole thing completely differently. And to wrap up on showcases, maybe a trailer is not the best thing you can provide, especially on non-first-party showcases where the audience is more likely to switch off. B-roll or unedited gameplay can be efficient if your hook is easier to understand in-game, and especially if you're limited on time. And adding dev commentary on top of this is extremely efficient too. Regarding Steam, it remains the best platform for your trailer today. It's the quickest to show your trailer, as first-party stores require way more input from the player to access videos. This is where you must think about your first second the most. What are you able to hook the player with your trailer opening seconds and without sound? And don't waste any precious time on secondary information. Publisher and studio logos are not a hook here, especially. And if the ESRB logo can be overlaid on the lower side of the screen for 4 seconds instead of taking 2 full seconds full screen, do it. And don't hesitate to update your Steam trailers to optimize this too now. One of my favorite Steam trailers in recent memories is the one for Pizza Tower. The build-up is great, even without sound. Sure, you see the studio logo, but you have immediate gameplay in the background. You are hooked no matter what. And it's impossible to resist a title card that says, "Tour de Pizza present Pizza Tower." The latest launch trailer from Vampire Survivors is incredible too. They open with the huge number of positive reviews the game got. It's a great way to emphasize on the worldwide sensation that the game is, with a stat that players understand, while adding the "Be the Bullet Hell" tagline. You get to see within seconds the gameplay loop with medium and powerful build, a game over screen, and character selection screen. It's immediate, it translates the game's energy quickly. Incredible stuff. Finally, I wanted to finish the talk with additional tips. Create a documentation process. It's important to document everything that you find in your game that could be useful later. It is a time-consuming process, but it's much easier to create assets with it. Documenting works for every game, whether they are IP-based or not. From design document, work in progress art, or animation to final walkthrough, we can use everything. With this base, it's much easier to list everything that you have included so far in your trailer campaign, character, level, actions, and ask yourself, what have you already included? How can we avoid repeating too many things? This document is useful for everyone and can be exploited later by the PR, communication, and social media team. This is an excerpt of the documentation we made for Moonrider's release campaign. It features a list of levels, weapons, items, enemies, secrets, and more. We worked with this document with our mighty QA team as the game was often updated. And this document helped both our editorial process on the marketing side and then later all of the reviewers of the game so they won't miss a single thing. I'm not proud of how this one looks, but for the Shredder's Revenge DLC, we built a 4-trailer campaign with different elements scattered among the announcement, like new characters and color palettes based on the rich history of TMNT. To leave room with suspense while we sprinkle as many Easter eggs as possible in our material, it was important to document who and which version of the characters were showcased in which trailer. The same document was created for levels and power-ups from the DLC, so we would be editorially pitch perfect, but believe me, this is the good-looking one. These documents were kept up to date for everyone. Each marketing beat got new content to enjoy, while we made sure that in the end, we didn't spoil everything that was included in the DLC. I cannot overstate how important it is for developers to share their game captures to publishing teams. Even non-final footage is useful. It helps us and your team understand the goals and the intended gameplay flow of the projects as soon as possible. And if you identify great elements from the game during productions, share the goods. Plus, sharing helps making sure that your team won't have to do the same game capture twice or more. I talk from experience on that end. To finally present your gameplay to the world, wait until it's great. You know you only get one chance to make great first impressions, so make sure you're only using exactly what's on par with your intention and your vision. Keep in mind that if the gameplay loop is unclear to the person doing the editing, it will most certainly be for the person watching the trailer after. You may have to wait until undercooked gameplay gets better to expose it, but it's always for the best. Showcasing a killer shot in a trailer and reusing in your marketing material is very common in films, with the Mission Impossible franchise being the best at it in my opinion. Making this a part of your game identity through screenshots, GIF, clips, or any social media assets is a very efficient way to make it a part of the game identity, make it memorable. An example that I can give on the video game side is how influential the first paraglider shot from the first trailer of Zelda Breath of the Wild was, and how it built the visual strategy for all of the rest of the campaign. I love trailers for VR games. They are usually my favorite part of showcases because their ability to go on point is so quick. And because the way they are built, they focus their energy on gameplay and how the player will interact with the world around them. They need to open quickly on gameplay too, as they need to be identified as VR titles immediately to avoid any confusion. We have a lot of things to learn from VR games. And finally, never underestimate the key art as a part of your trailer. it remains the final shot of your trailer. If your key art happens to be too crowded to include dates and platform information, add a dedicated second shot so everything can be seen clearly. Key arts must feel like the extension of the trailer storytelling, and don't forget that these remain the first visual asset that players will be seeing in stores. Please find through this QR code a document that compiles all of the resources and trailers that I use for this talk. I want to give a big thank you to all of the studios and external developers for letting me showcase their wonderful talk here. And we have 5 minutes for questions. Thank you very much.
Do you do alternates for when you do socials? Have you talked a bit about like Steam not having sound at the start? Obviously, people when scrolling their social media don't have sound on. Do you guys do anything alternate? Do you how do you kind of handle that aspect of it?
If we do sorry? Yeah. If we do alternative cuts of trailers for social media to make sure that we respect all of the rules? Yes. Basically, that's the most important thing, is especially on social media that works best with shorter versions, and yeah, that's pretty common in what we do.
Thanks for the talk. You mentioned like always show gameplay in the announcement trailer, right? And there's another gameplay trailer, right? Do you guys ever show like the same gameplay feature like multiple times in different trailers?
Yeah, we tend to do it because that's mostly about, we want to make sure that we need to be remembered that as a marketing campaign, we've been working on this game for months, for years, but the people that will be watching the trailers, this will maybe be the first time ever that they see the trailer for this game. So for the announcement trailer, we do have now after we announce it, we see which part of the trailer performed well. And so we reused these kind of things to make sure that this is efficient. An example that I can give is the announcement trailer of TMNT. One of the highlights for the core community was to see that the 4 different turtles had 4 different running animations, which is different from the Konami arcade games. So we knew that this was something that was extremely well, and so we made sure that for every next trailers we had the turtles running, because this is a part of their identity, and the core audience wanted to make sure that we felt the personality of each character while we played. So this is one of the biggest elements that we make sure that we included for each trailer.
Yeah, thanks.
Of course. Okay. Well, I'll be at the wrap-up area right next door. And thank you once again, everybody, for listening.